In this overview of Integrity Lifecycle Manager, we are going to look at the components and aspects managed by ILM. We will also see how the visibility and traceability provided by ILM helps you be more efficient in tracking and managing requirements and tests. Let's start with the Integrity Overview dashboard. This dashboard provides high-level information for several active projects currently being managed in ILM. We can visually track things like risk mitigation, requirement and design verification and validation, and suspect content. Suspect items are downstream content related to upstream content that has been changed. For example, let's say you have a test case tied to a requirement. If you change that requirement, the test case is now suspect because the upstream requirement has changed. Integrity's end-to-end traceability eliminates the risk of a requirement change being overlooked, which could otherwise result in additional time and cost due to redesign or retest. Information for test coverage, defect tracking, and defect aging are also available in this graphical view. By utilizing metrics for task management, it is easy to determine the current status of tasks and who is working on what. All the charts and graphs are live. By clicking on the portion of the graph you are interested in, the underlying detailed content is presented. For example, if I was interested in what the critical tasks are, I can click on that piece of the chart and I am presented with a detailed view showing I have 3 critical defects and one is assigned but not actively being worked on at this time. From here I could easily assign this to another individual who can immediately start work on the issue. Let's drill down into the Monitor Release 1 project and review the related content to see how this project is progressing. A project is a container item that holds all related content, metrics, and metadata for that specific activity. Before we look deeper into this project, I would like to describe some of the aspects of the Integrity Lifecycle Data Model. The data model is made up of types of items. A project is a type, requirements, tests, change requests, and defects are also types defined within Integrity. Each type has specific attributes, data, and metadata associated with that type. One of these attributes is workflow. Workflows for each item type can be easily configured to match your business process with simple drag-and-drop functionality. Additionally, each item within Integrity Lifecycle Manager has an immutable history. This immutable history logs what was changed, the day and time it was changed and who made the change. Changing our focus back to the Monitor project, let's look at the metrics for this particular project. There are process metrics for the project activities or tasks including change requests, defects, and tests. Additional metrics can also be configured and added. Integrity Lifecycle Manager also provides lightweight hazard and risk analysis. By providing the ability to do hazard and risk analysis along with requirements and test management, compliance can be easily validated. Metrics for requirements and test management are also provided. This includes data for verification, validation, suspect content, scheduled and run tests, block tests, and test results. If ILM is used for source management, development metrics are also provided. A key value for Integrity is traceability through relationships. The Relationships tab shows all underlying related content for this project. The project is documented by customer inputs, requirements, designs, and test cases. The test plans, change requests and defects for the project are also visible. Through the traceability relationships, all of this information can be accessed with a few simple clicks. In addition to the Relationship tab, traceability information can be accessed using the View Relationships function. View Relationships provides an interactive drill down through related content. When we first launch View Relationships, the content shown is the same content shown on the Relationships tab. Where View Relationships differs is the ability to drill down into the content. Let's start by expanding the customer input document. Subsections of inputs are now visible. As we continue to drill down into the different subsections of the document, individual customer inputs are visible. By drilling deeper, downstream requirements related to the customer inputs are now visible. Expanding the requirement shows downstream designs. These designs are verified by test cases. This defect was created because this test case failed. By opening the defect, We can see the details. The Test Results tab gives visibility to the failed result. The test session and test case are also accessible. And once the defect is ready for testing, a new test session can be created from the failed test result. By opening the detailed test result information, any notes made can be reviewed along with any attachments. If source code is managed within Integrity Lifecycle Manager, change packages can be used to provide traceability down to the lines of code that were added, changed or deleted to resolve this defect. The external traces column contains trace links to Windchill parts and/or assemblies. By providing traces to parts and assemblies, requirements are visible within the PLM system. Since the part or assembly is downstream of the requirement, immediate notification is made at the part and assembly level when a requirement has changed. Utilizing Integrity Lifecycle Manager for requirements and test management eliminates the highly error-prone and tedious process of manually tying together requirements and tests stored in disparate systems or Word documents and Excel spreadsheets. With Integrity Lifecycle Manager, creating relationships and traceability content becomes an integral part of the design process, and this traceability is leveraged for metrics, impact analysis, and suspect notification. Let's spend the last half of the demonstration reviewing requirements and test management in detail. The Integrity Power User Client contains role-based configurable viewsets designed around specific user activities and needs. I am going to switch over to another viewset configured for authoring of requirements and tests. Within the Author Documents viewset, I have opened two documents. A document is a container item, like a project, except a document contains a related set of requirements or tests. This is an example of a requirements document. There is a hierarchy for the content which is shown in the outline on the left. The category field includes options for headings, comments, and different types of requirements. The trace status column shows any downstream, upstream, or peer traces. The external traces column shows the part or assembly which is managed in Windchill and traced to the requirement. Windchill can be accessed via the traceability link to view the details for the part or assembly. I wanted to change this requirement but need to determine the potential impact before making the change. The traces status column shows there is downstream traced content, and I can see I have a part traced from Windchill. By selecting the requirement, I can investigate what the downstream traces are before making the change. I can see a design specification and a test case will be affected, and the test case has already been run in past. By using this information, I can determine the impact and potential cost before making a change. To show how suspect notification works, I am going to go ahead and make a change to the requirement. The downstream design and part are immediately flagged as suspect. Once the downstream suspect items have been reviewed to determine if changes are needed, the suspect flag can easily be reset. The suspect flag for the part or assembly is reset within Windchill. Test documents in Integrity Lifecycle Manager contain a related set of test cases. For each test case, the test is defined along with the expected result. Additional fields can be added to any test case or requirement for additional data capture based on your business need. Traces between content are created via a drag-and-drop process. To demonstrate this, I am going to move the test document to the lower half of the screen so both the requirement and test documents are visible at the same time. To create the trace, select one or more test cases and drag them up to the requirement you want to trace to. Integrity Lifecycle Manager has intelligent traceability and knows which relationship to use based on the items being traced. Now we will move to an overview of test management in Integrity Lifecycle Manager. As we change roles, we will also change to a different viewset, the Test Engineer viewset. This viewset is optimized for work activities carried out by test engineers. All the current test sessions are visible in the query on the left and the details for each test session is visible on the right. The test session drives the testing process. There are underlying items called test objectives and test plans that describe what will be tested. The test session is related to a test objective. The test session is also traced to specific test cases or test documents which will be tested via the execution of the test session. The test results editor is used to record test results for each test case. As you progress through the testing process, each test case is assigned a verdict. Detailed notes can be entered in the annotation field and attachments, such as screenshots, can be added to the test result. Let's assume there was an anomaly during this test and it failed. I am going to enter a short note describing the failure. Then, I am going to create a new defect for this test result. I could also choose to relate this failed test result to an existing defect. I need to enter the initial information required for this defect. The fields in red are set as mandatory fields and must be filled in. Once the testing is complete for this test session, I can set the state to completed in the test results editor. As part of the completion process, an electronic signature is required to certify the test session and the results. Some of the ways we highlighted the value of Integrity Lifecycle Manager for requirements and test management during this short demonstration include: assuring detailed traceability for compliance reporting and audits, automated suspect notification of downstream content, easily confirming all customer requirements have been met, validated, and verified and there are no orphan requirements, interactive impact analysis, immutable history for all content.